Hi guys, welcome to Future Recapped. Today, I am going to explain a mystery and horror movie called Population 436. Watch out and take care. Welcome to Rockwell Falls, North Dakota, Population 436, always. The movie opens with a woman giving birth. Elsewhere, a man in a truck is driving recklessly on the road. He eventually gets into an accident, and the truck explodes, killing him. At the man's funeral, his daughter, Amanda, starts acting up, saying that this is all wrong. The people immediately take her away, saying that she's sick. Sometime later, Steve Cady, an enumerator for the U.S. Census Bureau, comes to the town. On the way, he stops by a gas station, and asks for directions to Rockwell Falls. However, everyone ignores him. Steve finally reaches Rockwell Falls. Just as he crosses the border, he sees a woman fall off a horse. He is so engaged by her, that he drives over a pothole, and his car suffers flat tires. One of the deputy sheriffs, Bobby Kane, arrives and gives Steve a lift into town. Bobby takes Steve to their mayor, Gus, and Sheriff Jim. Mayor Gus gives Steve a warm welcome. Bobby then takes Steve to the house of Belma, an elderly woman who will be hosting Steve. Belma has a daughter, Courtney, the same woman who fell off the horse earlier. Elsewhere in town, the people vote to see who will be the next host, for their yearly festival. A woman named Ruby is selected. That night, Steve gets a strange nightmare. So, he wakes up, and goes down for some food. Courtney also arrives. They start talking about Steve's wife and daughter, who died in an accident a couple of years ago. The next day, Steve goes to eat at Belma and Courtney's cafe. There, Courtney reveals that she has never been out of Rockwell Falls, and would like to travel to other cities. Seeing her conversing with Steve so much, Belma calls her away. Meanwhile, another of the deputies, Deputy Christian, can be seen staring at Steve. Steve meets up with the town's data keeper, Harmony, who is pregnant. He notes that the town population has been 436 for a long time now, and asks how that could happen. Harmony says that things stay the same around here, which really isn't an answer, but okay. Steve asks about a particular family that he needs to take into his survey. Harmony avoids his question and leaves. That night, the little girl, Amanda, also gets the same strange dreams that Steve has. Dr. Griever says that she has a fever, and their treatment is the only way to cure it. The next day, Steve goes to Dr. Griever's clinic, where he sees a woman moving around in a stiff manner. Dr. Griever says that she just recovered from the fever. Steve asks Dr. Griever about Amanda. The doctor says that ever since her father died, Amanda has been showing signs of schizophrenia and paranoia. So, she's being cured here. He then leaves to check on a patient. Steve looks around and realizes that none of the certificates on the wall is a medical degree. As he's leaving, Steve sees Amanda staring at him from the window. So, he goes to the sheriff, and says that Amanda is not safe with Dr. Griever, as he does not have a proper medical education. Sheriff Jim defends the doctor, saying that the Griever family has been taking care of the whole town for over 100 years. To calm him down, Bobby takes Steve out to shoot some bottles. After they release some steam, Bobby tells Steve that he loves Courtney, and intends to marry her. Later, as Steve is going to his room, he sees Courtney undress in a very suggestive manner. However, he does not act on this and goes to sleep. That night, Steve gets another nightmare, just like the one from earlier. The next day, Steve sees the people that he saw before coming into town, the ones who ignored him. He calls them, but they ignore his calls again and leave. So, Steve goes into the general store, and asks about them. The store clerk says that they come into town sometimes, to drop supplies and leave immediately without staying. Outside, Steve asks a boy, Obi, about the fever that everyone is talking about. Obi says that people sometimes suffer from fever. Dr. Griever fixes them, but they always come back a little strange. So, Steve goes to Dr. Griever's home. There, he finds Amanda. She tells Steve that he will no longer be able to leave. The town will keep Steve no matter what. She tells him about her father who tried to leave as well, but got into an accident and died. Steve then sees a wound on Amanda's head, and gets angry that Dr. Griever is hurting her. So, he takes her out. Just then, Sheriff Jim arrives with Dr. Griever. The nurses quickly take Amanda back inside. Steve tells Jim that Dr. Griever is hurting Amanda. But, Jim again takes Dr. Griever's side, and says that this is how things have always been done in Rockwell Falls. Dr. Griever says that the fever is a sign from God, to stop the person from leaving. Later, Steve confronts Courtney, and asks her what the hell is going on in this town. Courtney says that the town is messed up. She wants to leave too. She asks him to take him with her, and then kisses him. After that, they start making love. Unknown to them, Bobby has also arrived just then. He sees them making love. Shocked and angry, he leaves. At least he didn't interrupt them. Nice of him. The next day is the day of the much-awaited festival. There, Bobby tries to confront Steve, but Courtney grabs his hand right in front of him and takes him away. Damn, that must hurt. As they dance, Courtney tells Steve about a cabin in the woods. He should go there, if he plans to escape. For the next part of the festival, Ruby, the hostess, goes up on a makeshift gallows. She puts on the noose. All the while, she's smiling like she won Miss America or something. As Steve looks in horror, a woman says that they do this every time their population crosses 436. This time, it's because of Steve who put the population at 437. They all look on as Ruby dies. After that, everyone goes around like it's the most normal thing in the world. Everyone except Steve, of course. He is absolutely horrified at what he just witnessed, and it's even worse with the way they are all reacting, or not reacting. He starts yelling, saying that they are all crazy. So, the townsfolk grab him, claiming that he has a fever. They take him back to Dr. Griever's place, where he says that Ruby was honored to sacrifice herself. Mayor Gus then tells the story of the town. In 1860, the population was 436 and everything was good. Until a terrible man came to the village, and burned down everything. The people built it back up, and ever since then, they've maintained the population at 436, and everything has been going well. Anyone who tries to leave, will get into some sort of accident and die, by God's will. After that, they proceed to fix Steve, by electrocuting his brain. They also send a false letter back to Steve's office, saying that he'll be settling in Rockwell Falls. Sometime later, Steve wakes up and runs away to the forest, that Courtney mentioned. Velma immediately calls the cops. Elsewhere, Courtney has been put in Dr. Griever's home, because she has a fever too. Meanwhile, Steve reaches the cabin, and comes face to face with a man named John Green. He's been trapped here for the past 3 years. At least he got to publish The Fault in Our Stars before coming here. John Green advises Steve to act like one of them. So, when the cops come, Steve plays around with John's kids, pretending that John invited him to his home. They are suspicious at first, but Steve lies convincingly, and they leave. John then tells him that God's will is real. People who try to leave the town, really do get into strange accidents. Steve asks about the men from another town, who deliver supplies. John says that nothing happens to them, because they don't spend the night here. Elsewhere, Christian tells Bobby that Harmony will be having a baby, so someone will have to die. He thinks that Bobby should just kill Steve. Soon after, John tells Steve about a secret road, that the delivery guys take when leaving town. So, Steve goes to the general store, and follows the delivery guys. However, without him realizing it, Bobby is also following him. Steve starts putting kerosene all over a barn, but Bobby comes up to him with a gun. He reveals that he saw Steve and Courtney making love. Bobby feels betrayed, so he points the gun at himself, asking for the sweet release of death. Steve calms him down, and takes the gun from him, after which he knocks him out and puts him away. Steve sees the delivery truck leaving, so he quickly lights the place on fire. The townsfolk are distracted, and he drives away in Bobby's car. Christian also arrives at the scene, and wakes up Bobby. Bobby tells him that Steve is going after Courtney. Steve arrives at Dr. Griever's place. He points the gun at them, handcuffs them, and then asks about Courtney. Dr. Griever says that he sent Courtney back home. Just then, one of the nurses attacks him. Steve quickly knocks him out. Then, he goes downstairs to where Amanda is kept. There, he sees a chilling chart for a lobotomy, and a setup to that purpose. He also finds the missing family down there. They are living with the delusion that they are in their new home. Steve finds Amanda in another cell, and they quickly rush upstairs. There, they see that the cops have arrived. So, Amanda leads him out of the back door. They escape through the woods, with Bobby and Christian giving chase. Steve and Amanda come across a grassland, full of old and abandoned vehicles. They find a truck that works and escape in it. So, Bobby and Christian run back to their own car. Steve and Amanda go to Courtney's home. However, Courtney is behaving strangely, pretending that everything here is normal and good. Amanda says that Courtney has been cured, and there's nothing they can do for her. Steve is sad, but leaves. As they try to escape the town, Bobby and Christian corner him. Christian yells at Bobby to shoot, but Bobby hesitates. When Christian pulls out his own gun, Bobby shoots him instead. Steve gets back in the truck, and Bobby lets him leave. Steve and Amanda leave via the secret road that the delivery guys used to take. They drive safely. After a while, a cross falls right in front of them. Both Steve and Amanda start getting scared. Suddenly, a huge truck appears in front of them and kills them instantly. A couple of days later, Steve's friend, Frank, arrives at Rockwell Falls to check on him. He too damages his tires on the pothole. Sheriff Jim receives him and says that Steve left a couple of days ago. He invites him inside for a festival, informing him that local girl Harmony, recently given birth to twins. Deep down, we know that with the deaths of Steve, Amanda, and Christian, the town population is 433. With Harmony's newborn twins, it's 435. Now, with Frank, it will be 436. Let's hope he survives. With tragedy for Rockwell Falls, and tragedy for our hero, Steve, this movie ends. To see more recaps like this, just click on one of the movies on your screen. Or, subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help out the channel. Thanks for watching.